Welcome, welcome to Centering Justice. For those of you who are just joining or joining for the first time, we were listening to Spotlight by our very own Ursha Raymond, who we'll talk about in a moment. Centering Justice is a monthly podcast where we amplify the voices of Black and Brown and melanated people. It is our here at New, our best attempt to use our platforms to elevate these voices. My name is Yodit Johnson, and I'm the show host. And this month, we are celebrating not just Black History Month, which we celebrate every day, all day, but Galentines Day, with love letters to Black women. Our guest today, many of you know, and if you don't, shame on you. They are living and making their own impact in Detroit and in the world, really, y'all. These women are my muses. They embody love, they embody leadership and liberation. And today we're going to ask them how they're doing that. Joining me for this conversation is Candice Fortman, Shamyle Dobbs, Sommer Woods, Meredith Freeman, and Sarida Scott. Welcome, y'all. So glad you could be here to celebrate Galentine's Day with me. Oftentimes the show topic just kind of falls in my spirit, and I frequently refer to Centering Justice as sort of a spiritual home for me. There's never an episode where something in the atmosphere doesn't just shift as a result of our guest. And before we get into the show, I always love a little kee-kee in with our guest, and we play Ursha because unless you were under a rock this past Sunday, Mr. Raymond, he did his thing from the beginning of the Super Bowl, the doggone Super Bowl, from the beginning of halftime to the end. This brother in Black History Month gave us 80 plus years of Black achievement, from Josephine Baker to whole ass skating rinks to rock and roll to Black college bands, the Divine Nine, hip hop and dance. In 15 minutes. I don't know about y'all, but the NFL was getting no love from me after how they played Colin Kaepernick. But Ursha, honey, he done pulled your girl back in. And if I'm honest, I usually do, even during my boycotting, tune into the halftime shows. But this one was over the top. What say you, ladies, about Mr. Raymond and this love letter that he wrote to ATL and the culture? Any highlights y'all won't soon forget?
I mean, they call him U.S. HERRAYMOND. And he reminded us why we spell his whole name out. He is beautiful and talented and so self-assured on stage. There is nowhere else in the world Usher was born to be than on stage. And when you see somebody living in the fullness of their gift, but also reminding us that our culture is full and it runs from, as you said, from HBCUs to the strip club, because he also gave us the strip club.
The whole pole.
And did.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. So I'm grateful for Usher, always, but particularly this week.
Yeah, I wrote a post that said, for those that have never experienced HBCU homecoming or a classic, you can thank Usher. He gave it to you in 15 minutes. That is the joy that we feel every time it is homecoming time. And I would just like to shout out the pole, though. You see what I'm saying? The poles, the sisters was working, and I was inspired. Okay, I was inspired. Like, let me get my upper body strength together, because I won't. You see what I'm saying? I'm inspired. Candice, inspired.
I'm gonna have to work on the core a little bit.
Inspiration comes from every place.
It comes from when you see the body in the boom boom room, you say, come on, Jesus, won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Once again.
Sam, how about you?
Listen, as somebody who paid a whole mortgage payment to see him live in Vegas. We were down front. And let me just quickly just say this story because it's funny as all get out. So we were down front. He was throwing out what we thought was real money. And myself, Harvey, like dived right on the floor to get this wad of cash. And it was like a whole scene because people thought, oh my God, he's throwing out like thousands of dollars. And if you, I don't know, for anybody who went to the show and they were down front, it's actually Usher bucks. So for all the fanfare, we got some Usher bucks. It's in the basement. I should have brought it up, but yeah, good time. I'm glad to see a repeat.
Oh my
If you
God.
ever want to go to a concert where the money is actually real, might I suggest the Jeezy show? It is one of the most interesting things I've ever seen.
Come on, Money Guns. You see what I'm saying? Come on, Money Guns. And he don't even perform because everybody in the audience in Detroit, you can't just see Usher anywhere. You got not Usher, Jeezy. You got to see Jeezy in the D. I'm just saying.
Well, speaking of, somebody in chat wants to know if you can use Usher bucks in his merch store.
Can I use them to buy tickets to this expensive show in Detroit?
Listen.
Hey, somebody else in chat said the poll is an unknown form of financial aid for some.
Amen.
I'm here.
Amen.
I'm here for it.
When FAFSA can't do, the poll shall.
Not mad.
You know what?
Listen,
Never
look,
mind.
Biden and them like, y'all better get a poll because we ain't forgiving nothing.
Let them use you. Can't just let them use you.
Let me get off this podcast before I lose my job.
Let me tell you, this may indeed be the podcast I didn't know I needed. And actually I did know I needed it because the world right now is whirling. And in addition to that, I just feel like each of you, I've had a personal, one-on-one about what it's meant for us to be Black women at this moment in this time. I have witnessed you challenge our community, our sector, our field to not only see us, but to invest in us and to hear us, to listen to our wisdoms and to listen to the ways we know at a DNA level how to care for community and how to make sure that every need is met. And that's why you're here. You're here because your gifts fill up a room when I'm in it. And when my spirit is weary, it's always been Black women that have nurtured me and cared for me. So thank you, because I know y'all busy out here, look, doing the damn thing. But I appreciate you being with me today. And on each episode of Centering Justice, we invite our guests to bring the multiplicity of their identities in. And I would love people to just hear a bit more about who you are and what communities you're bringing into this space with us today. Candice, I see you, and I'm going to have you go ahead. And I noticed we lost Shamyle, so if somebody can help get her back. I'm sure it was a technological issue.
I'm here. Can you see me?
Oh, Jess will re-spotlight you. I'm glad you're back.
Okay.
There you are.
Right.
Hi, honey. So what are the identities and communities y'all are bringing up in here to Centering Justice?
Mm-hmm. I'm Candice Fortman. I am a Black woman. I am a unapologetic, diehard Detroiter. I am my mother's child, though she is not on this earth anymore. I am my grandparents' baby, though they are not on this earth anymore. So I am a deeply, I have ancestors that really don't play about me. So you should really not play about me. And I am a person who believes that community is the only thing that will save us. It is community or nothing. The individuality of society is what will be our downfall, and we're watching it happen in real time. And I'm also a godmother and a friend and a whole fool, mostly when I'm with Sommer. And so I'm really grateful to be able to live in the duality of wisdom and foolishness always.
Wisdom and foolishness. Y'all just govern yourselves accordingly. Who you gonna pop it to, Candice?
I'm gonna pop it to Meredith.
That's a hard act to follow. Why you do that to me, Candice?
I'm so sorry.
Foolishness. Um, I'm Meredith Freeman. I am Black and female, never to separate the two. I am also very happy to be here. I am a granddaughter of the Great Migration, and I know that because I care for my mom, who is a daughter of the Great Migration from Alabama. We've just been talking about her journey to Detroit many, many years ago and what that meant and what that entailed. I am a mama. I am an auntie, sister, and according to, including daughter, right? I'm a partner, hopefully a good partner. And most importantly, I'm love. So, and that's what I'm most proud of. But I'm also proud to be Sarida's writing partner. So I'm going to pass it on to her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Meredith. I am Sarida Scott. I am a passionate Detroiter. I love our city. I am a servant. I'm a lover of my people. I am mom, stepmom, daughter, sister, all of that. And I will credit my dear Yolanda with giving me my favorite professional moniker, because I do claim to be the Beyonce of community development. Although I will say the Mary J, because y'all know how I feel about Mary J, but I love community development. I love the work that is done that is really about agency and people's voice and ensuring that what I see is the vision of it, that there's an equitable neighborhood for everybody where everyone can thrive and live and love and enjoy and feel safe. And I am going to pop it to my sister in community development, Miss Shamyle.
Thank you, Sarida. Hey, y'all in the Zoom room. Happy Black Love Day. Happy Galentines Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Black Women Are the Dopest Day. And
Show him your shirt, Sham. Show him your shirt.
Oh, yes. Thank Black women. Thank Black women. I hope everybody can see that. Thank Black women. And happy Centering Justice Day. So I told Yodit I was gonna sing myself in, but I probably won't do that. I go by
Come
Sham.
on, I need it. Sing
All
it.
right, I'll do it then. Shabuya, shabuya, roll call. I go by Sham. That's all I got. That's it. That's all I got. I see you, Monica. That's all I got. I am a Black woman. I am a first generation Black American. I am birthed in Brooklyn. I am a child of Caribbean descent. I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a wildflower. I am a nonprofit leader and servant. I'm an organizer. I'm a poet. I'm a caregiver to a father who has dementia. I am a sister. I'm a cousin. I am an imaginative spirit. I am a fierce advocate. I am a justice seeker. And of course, I spread love because it's the Brooklyn way. And I am going to kick it to Sommer.
Right, I was gonna be like, I'm last. You know how you was on the basketball court at the playground and you got picked last? I'm just saying, I feel that's all right. It's cool.
You're the anchor.
Cool. No, it's all good. I'm Sommer Woods. I am a Black woman. I'm a proud Detroiter. I am a proud daughter of Jay Quellen, who I see on here, and Jay Rome, the J. If you meet my parents,
Jackie
I'm just
Woods
saying.
up in here.
If you
Hey,
meet
Mama
my
Jackie.
parents, you'll see I never had a chance. Y'all say I'm crazy. I never had a chance. If you ever meet my parents, that is where I never had a chance. I'm a mentor. I'm a proud mentor. I see one of my boo-boos, Jam Monique on here as well. I am an entrepreneur, a proud entrepreneur. And then I'm a grandma's baby. I'm a grandparents, grandmama's, granddaddy baby, and I'm a village child. I'm proud to be a village child. And I'm a super proud godmommy, and I'm a super proud mother, not biological, but definitely by spirit, and I'm super proud of that. And I'm a mother of a transgender son who I loved like a big old bowl of grits. So I'm a proud transgender mom. And And I'm blessed. I'm sweet baby Jesus child that he continues to bless me every single day. I don't know why, but he does. And that's about who I am.
Thank you, Sommer. I'm gonna embellish a little bit, if I may. Um, Sommer, I think you first came on my radar when I joined the Super Bowl committee to help get women and minority entrepreneurs into contracting opportunities. And because I'm old, what I remember is slim, but what I most remember is that I saw you and I saw you making sure we were at the table. I'll never forget that. And your sort of your MO has never changed. So later, when I saw you almost on your own get the queue line running in Detroit, it was pretty much in line with who I've known you to be now for over 15 years. Sarida, you are the Mary J. Blige of community building, and watching the way you lead, which is so antithetical to the patriarchal, paternalistic, white dominant narrative of leader, has been a blueprint for me and for so many of us. Candice, the way you are breaking journalism, you know, when you don't have words to say, like we knew that there were already so few and so limited stories of who Detroit and Detroiters are, of who we are, and your courage at Outlier Media to literally break all of the ways in which mainstream media harms us every day, and to sign up for that and lead that is changing the game. I hear your name spoken in rooms you would not imagine. And I'm just grateful. And one other thing, today's episode is called Galentines Day because of Candice. It was the first time I really heard it, was when she pulled a bunch of us together. Meredith, your work in philanthropy, and if I may, I'll just share, this is so exemplar of who you are. I think a lot of you know that I am doing something that lots of people want to tell me I can't do, but that the ancestors planted in me and I know I will do. And that is raise $10 million to transform the new center, the property we own, into a hub of social justice and transformation that honors the Black histories of the neighborhood we're in, and that brings folks who are focused on justice and liberation together across the region. And it's been hard. And all I had to do is say a word to Meredith, like in a different meeting. And within 5 days, you offered such generous counsel. Your work as an executive at the Fisher Foundation has reverberated in the Brightmoor neighborhood and beyond, but mostly your love for helping connect folks like me and so many others to this matrix of philanthropy, to make sense of it, to understand it, and to prepare ourselves to pull that hoarded wealth down is unmatched. And I won't forget that. And Sham, when COVID hit, and I was like, because I'm old and I've been in this game for a minute, I was like, oh, I can tell you what's about to happen. And I called you and said, sis, we cannot let this happen on our watch. And I shared a vision, really one I'm sure came from our ancestors, for how organizations like Michigan Community Resources and NEW and CDAD and COACT and others, M&A, could work together, right? That we could disrupt this spirit of competition and scarcity. And what I knew for sure with you was that you would center Detroiters, Black people, and folks who have been historically locked out of opportunity. You would not only center them, but you would put them in the forefront of every conversation, and you have yet to disappoint. And you have done that amid caregiving and leading an organization and so much tumult and change, but you continue to show up, just as you said, as this poetic, profound leader that your team is lucky to have, but that more importantly, Detroit is fortunate to have. I'm so glad. I thank BK every day and Harvey too for wooing you to Detroit. I'll never forget Mike Tyson was in a meeting with you and he called me from the meeting. Do you know Shamyle Dobbs? And I was like, no, I don't know. May have heard her name. And he was like, if you don't do nothing else, make sure you meet her. And I'm better for it, sis. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for being such an inspiration to all of us. You know, it is no secret to me that in the entirety of the history of this world, when Black women have gotten free, everybody's gotten free. And so today, I just want to dig a little bit more into how you're getting free, how you're helping others get free, and really to craft together a love letter to ourselves, but to other Black women. So let's get at it, y'all. And thank you again for being here. Let's go there. I want you to talk to me about love. It's such a, it's a powerful word, but it's so overused. So overused. I like to think a lot about radical love because it challenges me. It challenges me to make love a verb, an action, not just a word. So would love to hear your thoughts. I'm not going to go in any particular order, but how does love manifest in your work, your family, and in your lives today?
I'm happy to kick us off, in part because I saw my sister lot consultant on the call. So first and foremost, let's talk about here love and here freedom. Stella, I'm gonna give you a shout out for making me free in this here journey. So thank you. I appreciate you. The other thing I want to talk quickly about is self-love and acts of love and service for work. So for me, in this moment, in this space in my life, and I talked briefly about, and Yodit touched on it, because so much of what I do is servant leadership, and so much of how I orient myself in this world is in service of others, particularly my father, who suffers from dementia. I moved him from New York here to by way of Detroit, Ypsilanti. Um, I am tired, y'all. I am burnt out, and I'm in a space where I'm just figuring out how to love myself. I'm trying to find Sham, rediscover who Shamyle is in the midst of service. And I am so blessed and fortunate now to have the ability to step away from work. The urging of Yodit, the urging of Sarida, I applied for and got approved to take a sabbatical through the Miller Fellowship. Yes. And that is funded by the McGregor Fund. So I'm planning for that. I am working on that. But again, it's sort of in this space of self-love. I think the other thing I want to quickly touch on, because I don't want to take up too much space, is acts of love and acts of service. And y'all, I got to share this. This is my love letter. This is my love letter to the sector, the Rest and Liberation Initiative and report. I'm gonna make sure that everyone on this call gets a copy of it. But one thing that, and Yodit touched quickly on this container of Black and Brown leadership, the Transforming Solidarity Collective, new M&A, MCR, CDAC, COAC came together to talk about what we needed, but also what the sector needed. And we most certainly know that Black and Brown led organizations who are typically under-resourced, overworked, and their leaders, and I'm not talking about just CEOs, y'all, I'm talking about any leader in the organization, they need rest and they need resources to be able to rest. So what this maps out is a sabbatical program for those organizations. And it's not just resources for rest, but it's also a deep investment in those organizations, their leadership bench, and their ability to step away. So for me, love is service, love is here freedom, love is also figuring out who I am.
Who's up next? Candice?
So love is top of mind for me right now because I am going through another iteration of the grief I have of the loss of my immediate family. So for my mother and grandmother. And it's such an interesting thing. It's happening at a time where I am doing a lot of personal questioning about where I want my life to go over the next, 2 to 3 years. And I don't think that I have ever had a been to a place like that where they did not come back and the grief of not having them has not been present. Because, you know, the thing that you want to do is call your mom and say, you know, I'm thinking about blowing my life up, or, you know, I'm thinking about falling in love or whatever. And her voice, so she is with me, it is her physical voice that I am missing right now. And so I'm really trying to allow that to just to be okay with not being okay right now. But also, I have been very fortunate to be able to build an organization with someone who I love so deeply. And I like the love of partnership in work is something I had never experienced until this moment. And being able to build Outlier with Sarah has been one of the greatest gifts I have ever received. And I think about her in all, like, she is a part of every part of my life at this point. And I don't know what part of the universe decided that we needed each other, but that part has never been more correct in my life. And so I'm just really joyful that I get to experience this incredibly hard work. Let me just say, it is really hard. It's the hardest job I've ever had, but I get to do it with someone who I love very deeply. And so I just really want to I just want to spend some time being grateful for having that experience because it is really remarkable.
How about you, Sarida? And then we'll go to Sommer and Meredith.
Wow, how does love show up? Um, Similarly, I feel very fortunate to do work that I love. And it holds a whole different meaning when you are working on behalf of people you love and for a place that you love. But you know, on Valentine's Day, I always reflect and tell people Valentine's Day was never a romantic love kind of day for me. My parents, my family, it was always a day to express and show love. So I woke up this morning giving my daughter some gifts. You know, I brought in candy to her office. Dude saw me walking out. I wished him happy Valentine's Day. He was like, "What you get?" I was like, "Nothing." I was like, I'm giving. I was like, I don't give love. I was like, it's not a, so I never understood this whole, you know, feeling sad if you're not with someone romantically. I was like, it's just a day to share love. And of course, I had to do a little show and tell. I brought the card my parents gave me when I was 6 years old on Valentine's Day, which I kept. So I am wishing and sending love to everyone on this day because it is the strongest power. It is the best emotion, and the gift you have is the ability to give it freely.
I think it's my turn. I have a little intro music. So many things I gotta tell you, but everybody sing. I need to see hands. Where the hands? No, okay, fine. Listen, I was gonna sing it, but I figured I would just let Music Soul Child bring me in. See what I'm saying? You can't decide. No, I think, you know, for me, love how I live my life is I absolutely, and we're, you know, this is a love letter to Black men. And when we did our intro of who we are and who we're connected to, you know, I always start off with Black. Like, I love Black people, like, immensely. I love all of the Blackness of just when it's bliggity black, it do something to my soul. My friends clown me because they're like, "You're doing." I'm like, "No, we stay doing too much because that's who we are as Black people." And that roots me in my humor. That roots me in my spirituality. It roots me in my work. It roots me in my family, my friendship, my sorority. I am an AKA as well. That's as an AKA. That's one of my other identities. So it roots me within, you know, within all of that. And so when Yodit made reference about how we connected originally with Super Bowl, like that's always been who I am. You know, I'm a village. When I say I'm a village child, it's because I have been exposed to all different types of people. So I always, laugh because my mother was doing her thing and my grandmother, and it was shifting me around and everybody was picking me up, and I was reading Reader's Digest at 9 years old because I was in the den with no TV. And my cousin, 60-year-old cousin, who knew you had 60-year-old cousins when you 6? You see what I'm saying? I didn't know. I was like, is it my auntie? Is it my cousin? I'm confused, but whatever. I was reading Reader's Digest at that time. And so my love of Blackness, one of my stories we say every time we talk, Black women literally save my life every day. And that is how I feel about Black women, about Black people. Is it gives me so much joy, and even the things that we experience traumatically, the things that we experience in terms of joy. Um, so that's what roots me in my work, and I see that when I'm able to put my people on, to expose my people within any spaces as it is, when I'm able to, hopefully be an outlet and a light for the young people that I mentor every day. So I know for me, that's how I'm rooted in love, is truly through Blackness.
Wow. So for me, love is generational. I mean, we talk a lot about generational trauma, and that definitely has a place we need to discuss, but we need to talk about generational love. The love that, is coming from our grandparents, from our parents, through us, to our kids. And now it's gonna go from my kids to, some grandkids, great grandkids that may not even meet, may never meet. But that stuff is passed, the love is passed down too. Love is passed down in ways that allowed us to make that trek from Alabama to Detroit, right? And to set up a house so that others could come behind us. That generational love carries on into the next sphere as our elders transition to ancestors, and they're still with us, as Candice talked about, her mother still being with her in her heart, around you, beside you at all times. That generational love is something I'm embracing and living into more, especially as I take care of my mother as she's progressing and moving to that next stage as well. Just embracing that generational love and making sure that my kids know that, it's coming to you and then you're next, you got next.
You got next. Well, you and Sarida conspired on an invitation to us Gen Xers to have next in an op-ed that you recently wrote, declaring that Detroit's next mayor needed to be a Black woman, a Gen X Black woman. I just dropped that link in the chat for others. I'm also going to drop, and I've been putting links also to the Rest and Liberation Initiative and to other things that have been lifted. What I'm putting into the chat now is an article I came across in Nonprofit Quarterly, that the state of Black women leadership is in danger. And I want to be careful today to ride this fine line between your inherent magic as Black women, as humans, and also this trope that we've inherited generationally, this Black women as superheroes, right? The myth of the Black woman superhero. Because what I know to be true, because like you, Sommer, I'm in a community of Black folks and really of Black women who, as someone mentioned, are who have forever taken care of me, that I'm also aware that our mental health, our spirits, our humanity, our children, our homes are not only are we carrying a lot in all of those spaces, but our struggles are often unseen, unspoken, unreported about. And I believe that one of the reasons why we lean on each other is because of that. So this kind of tension between we've set the world free, and yet who is caring for us? Who's making sure that we're okay? When we're grieving, who is there to catch us? So I hope today is a soft landing spot for the fullness of what it means to be a Black woman, all of the dynamism and the phenomenal things you've already shared, but also the things that terrorize us, the things that grieve us, the things that break our hearts wide open. and that we're experiencing as individuals. So a good friend of mine describes grief as love with nowhere to go. And so if grief is this kind of wandering love, I'm curious, ladies, where are you grieving? What are you grieving? And while you think about that, I'll just share something that I don't hear a lot about. People hear me talk about my son, my SUN and my SON, who happens to share a birthday with Sommer. It took a long time for me to be able to get pregnant. First, it took a long time for me to decide I wanted to create a human. Then once I did, it took a long time to actually create the human. And then when he got here, my gosh, like I think everything changed for me. But one thing I'm noticing about grief is just this subtle grief as he grows and blooms and flourishes, this grief over the last phase he was in. You know, I'm constantly, these messages, external messages are, you know, they should grow up, they should leave the nest, they should, you know, they're great, they're what have you, but I miss those fat cheeks and those thick thighs, you know, I miss that sort of he needed his mama, you know, and I'm happy for him that he needs me less and that he's coming into his own autonomy. But there is a bit of sadness. And I just want to name that for other folks that are birthing and raising humans, that this culture of individualism, I think is just antithetical to who I am. You know, Sham, you talk about growing up with folks who are immigrants in this country. And I can't recall a time my daddy lived by himself. And yet the culture tells me that the measure of my success is how quickly I can push this kid out of the nest, right? And out into the world. And so not only am I actively rebuffing that, but I'm also just sitting with these changes in a kind of complex, messy, beautiful form of love and grief. So curious for you all, and please, again, just kind of pop in after each other or with each other. Where are you grieving? What are you grieving?
It's sort of on the same line of my first answer, because I am spending a lot of time thinking about what my life will be 3-5 years from now. I have to spend a lot of time thinking about what it has been. And so that has caused me to spend a lot of time thinking about choices I made in my 20s and 30s that weren't good. You know, we spent a lot of times praising the things that we've done, that we've accomplished. And I'm spending a lot of time thinking about the things that I didn't get right and grieving those decisions and how they are impacting my current life, because there are impacts, right? Like, we are building blocks of ourselves. And so I am trying to make peace with that person. I'm trying to make peace with 20-year-old Candice and 30-year-old Candice, who, you know, was making decisions based on the information they had in front of them, based on the things that, you know, the life that they were leading at that point, or she was leading at that point. And today, 40-something-year-old Candice has to clean those things up and has to be honest about what my life looks like and what it could have looked like had different choices been made. And I am slowly coming to peace with it, but it's been about a 2-year process of really trying to figure out that it is okay to have not always done the right things, and it is okay to correct them when the time is right.
I appreciate that we've created space for grief in ways in this country that we hadn't before. And also for me, I think it's been this recognition of understanding how grief hits differently and understanding it as, you know, a part of life. I mean, I think before, when you say grief, it is, like, people don't want to talk about it. You know, it's almost like you're gonna bring people down, you're gonna make people sad, but it is it's a complex and kind of living type of energy. And so my father is similarly experiencing health challenges. I'll never be able to have the same kind of conversation with him ever again. He's a totally different person. And I have grieved that because I am, my dad is my guy. I'm very close to my dad. I am so honored to be Willie Scott's daughter. But in this moment of change, it's also at the same time at 53, just the amazement of the blessing it is to have had an amazing father first, and to have had him for so long, and to have shared so many things, and have learned so much. And so it is this evolving kind of changing and understanding of grief. And at the same time, because at this age, part of what I have, my journey has been on embracing gratitude. You know, on Valentine's Day 2007, as I was pregnant with my daughter, 2 days after my baby shower, one of my closest friends died. And so I always think about her, and I always think about her when I have my daughter's birthday. And it's just remembering, though, that all the value and the benefit and the blessings and the love you get from people who aren't here, but you carry with you still, and how that just continues to impact
Sarida, I'll go behind you because similarly, and I mentioned this before, my father is not well, hasn't been well for some time, and it took a lot to pick up his whole life and bring him here. And I am literally carrying his whole life on my back. And I cannot even describe it any less than that. I am carrying him. If I could pick up my computer, I would show you a 2-tier filing cabinet of every single bill, every moment in his life. And I'm trying to pick up the pieces for someone who doesn't even remember the pieces. So imagine having to step into that space, much less remember me. So I'm having conversations with a man who often doesn't recognize me, the memories of my birth, my childhood, confuses my 17-year-old daughter with a moment in time, Shamyle. He calls her Shamyle, and I've had to live with that. And it's funny, I mean, as you mentioned, sort of this culture of pushing our babies out, we also push our elders out. And every person I've ever spoken to has been, Shamyle, this is too much. Just put him in the home. Just put him in the home. What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, wait, hold up. This is my guy. This is a guy who never gave up on me, ever, would not even imagine have given up on me. And, for me, it's how to reconcile with my 17-year-old who's leaving, and I'm grieving the loss of this baby going to college. I brought in, my father who's aging and ailing. And I don't want to get into a whole conversation of dementia, but he's violent, he's aggressive. I am literally the punching bag for all of his fear and the humiliation that he feels in this stage and phase of his life. So yeah, I'm grieving that. And I long to be in a place and space where I can feel gratitude, as Sarida mentioned. But I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I'm bitter. I'm mad. And it's hard for me because in the position that I play professionally, I have to leave that on the table, show up, glow up, be present, be all the things. And I'm carrying into all the spaces a deep sense of loss. And I'm not only losing my baby and I lost my dad, I lost myself. I look in the mirror and I'm like, girl, who are you? You used to be kind of fly. And it just, I see the weariness. I see my spirit often depleted, and to the point of all of the women on this Zoom call, I am so grateful for Black women. I am so grateful for all of the Black women who have held me up, held me down, wrapped their arms around me, helped me figure out how to get to and through. But I'm holding that, y'all, and it's heavy. It's heavy.
Caregiving is no joke, and I just want to send you all kinds of love from someone who's living that as well. And somebody put that in the chat too. Shout out and much love to all the caregivers. So as we grieve our elders and the relationships we used to have with them and, you know, where we are with them currently, you know, I'm also dealing with the fact that I lost one of my best friends unexpectedly 6 weeks ago on New Year's Day. You know, we have been friends for 40 years, literally since we were 13 years old. And like Sarida, I'm just trying to embrace the gratitude that I can say I had a friend for 40 years. Not many people can say that. And that's a blessing. And just trying to embrace that gratitude of a 40-year friendship and embrace the gratitude of having another ancestor now who's got my back, who's beside me, who's in my heart, who whispers in my ear. And so that's a current, like a really present feeling that I'm managing right now. And yeah, but it's love, right? It's love. It's all wrapped up in love.
Yeah, so I piggyback a little bit off of what Sarida was saying within the space of like grief. I really try to elevate gratitude as much as possible around that. I started experiencing death at a very young age. I lost my best friend in a car accident at 13. I lost another close friend a sophomore year in college. I lost another friend in college my junior year. I lost my line sister my senior year of college. Like I just experienced it early. And so in those experiences of losing grief, losing and grieving, and still, I have moments where I can, talk to my line sisters now, and we like, oh, girl, if Ali was here, it would be this, this, and this. Like, it's a lot of that, right? But it's the gratitude of Ali's not here, but I have 13 other line sisters, and to experience what that is and that gratitude, or, it taught me how to live early is really what grieving did. It taught me how to live early. So people always, crack the jokes about, you always joy. I'm like, I try to be thankful for every day that I'm given. Like literally, because there's a blessing for me to be here because I'll experience death so early. So I'm like, oh Lord, Jesus then messed around and woke me up. Let's figure this bad boy out. You know what I'm saying? And so it for me, grieving taught me how to live early. That after my line sister died my senior year, it woke me up. It was like, I'm about to do it all. I'm about to get this tattoo. I'm doing it all. 18, I'm 21 years old. I ain't got no job, but I don't care. I'm living in Atlanta. I might go to college. I might not go to grad school. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I'm still trying to do that, right? And so I try to look at gratitude and that grief. I mean, I still have my moments. I miss my grandmother really, really bad. And I have those moments where you could just be somewhere and you just start crying like, oh Lord, what happened? But the gratitude, I'm so excited when I'm in the kitchen cooking because it's her and it's her spirit and that gratitude. And so I'm able to give that out. So I do really try to end that, and I'm not oblivious to the fact of grieving. I talk a little bit about trying to figure out this concept of, the ability to have children, not have children. I recently just had a hysterectomy, and I had to kind of grapple around the fact of like, this is real. Like I knew like the having kids was, but this is like real, and you're like, did I not want kids because it was complication? Do I want them? Even though I can't, I don't have, it's all these different things. And I think there's certain parts of who we are as women, as Black women, that becomes a part of that grieving process. But even within the complexities of me, literally not having, my reproductive systems out for $52,000. Okay, just that's another podcast. But anyway, having that removed. Okay, anyway, just that process of it is the gratitude of what I do have with young people in my life that I did not birth, that I'm able to just love on. Like I'm so thankful and grateful for them every day. I'll send them a random text like, oh, I love y'all. I appreciate that. So I do try to live in gratitude, even with some of the things that I've lost, not just people, but also organs. All right. I'm just saying.
Yodit, can I add something? One, I'm sorry that I don't get a daily text message from Sommer with a reminder how much he loves me.
Because I'm not
That's
grateful. I'm not grateful for you. That's why you didn't get it. And I see Jay Quellen all in the camera. I see Jay Quellen in the camera. You see what I'm saying? She's talking about you see what I'm saying? Like, don't
like,
do it, Jay Quellen.
where is my text message?
Well,
I think we all are going to be looking for them now.
Daily.
Clearly.
Daily.
I hate y'all. I hate
Oh,
everybody.
but I meant to say this when I was talking, because this is I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. I am grieving a society I thought would be possible if I just worked hard enough. If I did my part for democracy, if I did my part for community, if I did my part for Detroit and America and Michigan, that it would look different than it does right now. And it is a real grief that is very active in me, because I'm trying to figure out how to balance feeling the reality of where we are. And if you are a living, breathing, reading, thoughtful human being, and you are not concerned about the state of democracy in this country, I might encourage you to wake up, as Sommer did when she was in her 20s. And I don't know if I have right now the strength to become the person I'm going to need to be when the experiment that is America truly starts to fall apart. And it's something that is on my mind, not just because I work in journalism, but because I am the daughter of a community organizer who I watch spend every election day driving people to the polls and trying to build community and protect our 6-block radius. And I grieve for her, and I'm grateful that she is not here to sort of see what has happened. So yeah.
We just talked about it. Candice, I talked about it the other day. I said, if my grandmother, Jesus, I'm so happy she ain't. If the stress level, Candice, we would have to be drinking every day on the porch, dog. Like every day.
Truly. And I think we're gonna have to start now.
Can we talk just a little bit about this? Because I think about it a lot too, particularly raising a child who hasn't even gotten out of high school, and kept thinking about that. How do you motivate, and how do you get up every day and show up? And all of us on here, I've known you all in some capacity of community building, of activism, of being engaged and involved. And I had to reconcile it with myself, who has spent her entire professional career in Detroit, working in community and living in the city the entire time. And I'm tired too. And a choice I made, but I recognize there's one reason I went into academia, because I was like, at 53, I want to spend the remainder of my career training young leadership. And I always tell my students in class, I'm like, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm tired, I'm concerned, I'm worried, I'm burned the hell out. I'm ready to get the fuck out this country, excuse me. But I say it is a fight worth fighting. As a way I motivate my daughter. It's the passion of the torch, because she ain't tired yet. And she still gets excited. And that's what I love to see. My students aren't tired yet. I'm like, you're right. Fight for this shit. It is worth fighting for. But but that's what the generational part you mentioned, Meredith, that's the kind of transition we need. We need to remember this, tap out when you need to. That's the other thing I don't believe in. I don't believe in the nonprofit martyr. I don't believe in us burning ourselves out. I was like, I'm not gonna die on this hill. I'm trying to move out the country and chill. And I invite us all to embrace that love and recognize part of our responsibility is to train others to get back in there and fight, because it is worth it.
Thank you for that. I needed that. Thank you. Yodit, did you see those long stems walk in Meredith's office?
Did y'all see that? I was.
Oh, I did.
Yes,
I
I
did.
did.
But
Yeah.
did you see? Did you see how
Keep the
Meredith
love
was?
alive. I see you, baby. I
Did
see
you? Did you see how she did this? Though she said that was cute. That was real. That was Candice. Get your soft up. See what I'm saying? Because that was soft.
We
I
need
gotta.
a whole other show on that.
And I must say, my honey is on this call. Thank you, Rondé. I appreciate the reminder.
Candice, if it was us, we would have been like,
I'm
okay,
about to shame my
Rondé.
husband.
To get off the call. I would have been so shocked. I would have get off the call. Well, y'all, I'm in love now, so I got to go.
Did you say I'm in love now?
She said if they came, she would, well, y'all, I'm in love. I got to go. We got to go.
Oh,
Do you see how we do? I mean, we from cradle to grave, we
Yeah.
and everything in between. I feel like I've observed that we are not often given the space to express what we long for. You know, what we hope for, whether the myth that I mentioned or something I've been unraveling was the narrative. And I don't think it came from my home, but I think it was it's certainly growing up in Detroit, like you couldn't be good, you had to be great. It was like the Detroit swag, right? So, you know, my conditioning was to be a high achieving human, right? And this longing, Sarida, to unravel from the fuckery of it all, to disconnect, to rest, to rebuff the narratives about who we should be or what we should have done, Candice, or what was, you know, good and what was bad. I love that you've come to this moment, it sounds like, or are coming to this moment of realizing that 20-year-old Candice what 20-year-old Candice knew how to do. And 40-something-year-old Candice knows a little bit more. My yoga instructor often tells me to meet little Yodit at the mat, right? And so I'm trying to like be in relationship with her, little Yodit, and to say to her, even when she shows up today, because honey, let somebody act crazy, you gonna see little Yodit, little feisty Yodit from the west side of Detroit will show up. Yeah, and you all have witnessed it. So testimonies are in. But what I find it at times challenging to give myself space to articulate what I long for, you know? Um, and so over the last several years, you know, one of the ways in which I just kind of practice that is by setting an intention or a vision or a future that might seem audacious or even unattainable, but just giving myself the space and the liberation to do that. And I want my little guy to see that too, Sarida, right? To see, you know, that he and spirit can conspire together. He can have what he longs for. That feels so liberating to me, right? So I would love to hear a little bit about what you're longing for. And then before we wrap up, you know, this episode, this love letter to Black women includes the young women and women identifying folk coming after us, right? And now I just feel compelled to say this, and the young ones whose lives were snatched from them unfairly, unreasonably, the ones whose spirits rise but whose bodies lay under rubble. You know, what well wishes do we have for the young women and femme identifying folk that will inherit these spaces we're presently occupying? So what are you longing for, and what are your well wishes for Black women for the future?
So I think what I'm longing for and what I want Black women to do is to start saying yes to some stuff. And we always talk about how it's okay to say no, it's okay to say, and it is, it's okay to say no, but what are we saying yes to? And what aren't we saying yes to that we should be saying yes to? And I ask myself that question a lot because we can talk ourselves out of some stuff, right? That we know we should be doing, and we find a reason why we can't. And so I just want to encourage the next generation to find that yes. What is it that you should be saying yes to for yourself, yes to for the world, for the community, for your friends, for whoever? But there's some more yeses out there that we've got to there's some more things that we've got to say yes to and that we should be saying yes to. And I just want to challenge myself to do that. And I'm continuing to do that, remind myself that there's a yes in there too. And then the next generation, we've got to give them the skills and the encouragement and the support to say yes.
What are you longing for?
I'll jump in. In all seriousness, even though it may sound like a joke, I'm longing for a flat tummy, y'all. um, but I'm also longing for rest. I'm longing for my own liberation. I'm longing for travel. I'm longing for wanderlust. I'm longing for just spaciousness. The room that I'm sitting in is my office, and this is my own vision board. I don't know if you can see it. It is a cage. And In the Cage is one of my favorite books by my favorite author, and also the person that my father named me off of after, Maya Angelou. It's I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. And this is my reminder to get free. I need to liberate myself from the things that bind me. And Sarida, the thing that you lifted up really resonated with me because I talk the talk to Sanaa. I talk the talk. I tell her how not to sacrifice herself and her body and her time, but I'm not walking the walk. So I watched this 17-year-old die on the vine of all the things and sacrifice her mind, her spirit at the pursuit of the things that, whether I'm saying it or not, she's seeing what I'm doing. So she's doing what I'm doing. And then I watched my 5-year-old who is fire and grit and freedom and light and life. And I watch her like unabashedly, like rebut the system. And I'm like, that's the journey for me. And it's a reminder that I just need to be light and life like her, and have this space where I can get free, y'all. So, and quickly, I wrote down my love letter and my wishes to Black women. So it's a homage to my shirt. Thank you, Black women, for building movements and caring for and caring communities and families. Thank you, Black women, for birthing soul, creating movement, sound, and energy. Thank you, Black women, for bountiful and boundless creativity and imagination. Thank you, Black women, for resilience and strength. Thank you, Black women, for beauty and grace and poise. Thank you, Black women, for being a force of nature. And thank you for shaping my identity, joy, resistance, creative expression, and freedom. So those are my well wishes.
So, I would like to feel like it's enough just once in my life. Um, I feel like I have been on a hamster wheel chasing some idea of success for my entire life. So that idea, you're in school and you're in the honors and gifted program, and then whatever comes after that. And my whole life, I have felt like it is never enough, that I've accomplished absolutely nothing because I'm only focused on all the things I haven't done or didn't get right. And I would love to free myself from the idea that I owe anyone outside of myself more success, or more accomplishment. And I also want to truly be proud of myself. Because for all of the things that I've accomplished, I'll tell you that I very seldom feel proud. Once the thing has happened, I'm only thinking about what I haven't done or what part of it I didn't get right. And that's a terrible way to treat yourself. And I would like to eliminate that burden from my life post haste. And I'll just say, because I am crying, this morning I was sitting at the table here having breakfast, and I've almost every morning since October 7th woken up in tears. And I have made peace with the tears, but I was thinking about my grandmother and how sometimes I would walk downstairs and she would just be sitting at the table crying. And you're little, so you don't always ask why, or sometimes you'd ask why. And she, would be like, I'm fine, it's okay. And I was thinking about her this morning. I was thinking about, like, sometimes those tears were tears of sadness, sometimes they were tears of joy, sometimes they were tears of confusion, and sometimes she had no idea why she was crying. And I know that because I am living that life right now. And I am so grateful that she just allowed her tears to flow. So I was never ashamed of mine. And I never thought it was not okay to cry, even if I don't exactly know why. And then also, I will forever be grateful. I wrote about this when Aretha Franklin died, but the sound of Black women singing gospel music, very specifically, has consistently liberated me over and over again. And when I felt unsafe as a child, those were the arms I crawled into. And so I'm so grateful that Black women continue to use their voice to sing praises to whoever they sing praises to.
You want me to go, Sommer? Want me to let you shut it down? Thank you, Yodit, for bringing us together. Conversations like these always give you opportunity, one, to connect with some women that I love, but also to get some perspective on different things. Because I honestly never really liked the word longing, because it conjured up this sense of something that you can't attain. And so in my mind, I was like, I'm not longing. It's going to be the same thing I'm striving for. Because I've always been like, my mother used to say, you always want to get what you want. I was like, well, I'm going to work for it. I'm going to work for it. I'm going to make it happen. What am I striving for? I am striving for peace. In so many different forms of mind, of in this place, in these places, in this world. Yes, that's just because I am recognizing I'm always going to do the work I can to make things better, but I also need to learn how to be at peace when I can't, because that's part of life. I started off the year hosting a reception for Black women, very intentionally. I wanted to start off the year in the company and the love of, in the conversation with Black women. And one of the things I asked them all to do, come in, was leave a word or a phrase, a wish you want for yourself or for Black women for this year. And so I put those together to share in my love letter to Black women. And I want us to be, and all of us, these are the collective wishes from all your other sisters who couldn't be here, appreciated, inspired and loved on, relaxed and at peace, liberated and rested, that you have joy and naps, that we stand in our power, and that you have water walking faith.
Hold on, Summer, because I said that there is always a moment, and that was the moment for me, where I am so clear that the message was not just, that there was a spiritual message there, and that was it for me. Water walking faith.
I gotta give credit to Bernadette Atuahene. That was hers, and it blew us all away. I was like, you ain't lying. That's how I'm going into this year. That is what I'm taking me through this year with. So B, thank you.
While I'm off, and before Summer shut us down, because you already know she fit to, I encourage those of you who feel led to put your well wishes in the chat. I would love to construct a letter of well wishes co-created by those of you present today, regardless of your identities, but especially other Black women that we can share after the podcast. And I have a little love letter for y'all after Sommer speaks.
So that means I'm not shutting it down. You're gonna shut it down.
Well, you know, it is my
And-
show. But,
And I mean, again, and you get liberation, and you get liberation, and you get liberation. Exactly. And Sarida, I'm the invitation must have been lost in the stratosphere. But anyway, I'm not gonna go there. See what I'm saying,
Look,
Candice?
sis, you got a text, ma'am, so we can talk.
Oh, I don't know. That might have been during my hysterectomy recovery. You better hope, okay? Candice, you see how that came back around? But anyway, I will
You've been
say
using that hysterectomy a little loosely for me personally.
I hate you, Candice. I hate you, dog. All right. So I will say I don't have a collective love letter, but I have quotes. I live my life by quotes. And so I pull some quotes, and I think these are things that I long for. A faith that can't be tested is a faith that can't be trusted. Pastor Kenlock gave me that. You're remembered by the rules you break. When you awaken love and laughter in your life, your mind lets go of fear and anxiety, and your happy spirit becomes the healing bond that transforms every aspect of your human experience. Love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place, Zora Neale Hurston. Be intrusive in spaces that are not inclusive. Giving someone a piece of your heart is the ultimate sign of trust. Trampoline skiing is something you ask God for, Brother Cat Williams. I'm just saying, that was a good quote. I'm the truth, not the fable, UGK. Okay, that was for you, Candice. All right. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. I think a lot of times we don't give ourselves enough grace. I feel like Black women are always literally healing and handling and doing so much. And I had to come to that realization for myself, health, blood pressure, everything else, to say I can't do everything. And sometimes my little soul be hurting. And I know that, even, in that, that we give ourselves grace, and that we try to be as transparent in that grace. And even when we talk about the next generation, and Sarida talks about arming the next generation, I think that what I have to, and I think a lot of times we could do a better job of, is the full transparency of what we're experiencing and feeling. I think sometimes we try to transfer information down to the next generation. We try to protect the next generation and things, and that triggers for me, because I see Jaminique, one of my mentees, we had like a little rough patch in our mentor relationship, and one of her things was like, you never share, you never talk, you never, what is it that you're doing, how does that, because I'm so busy trying to just give and do for everybody else, and I don't give myself enough grace to share that even with the next generation. I think that's important, so they know that we're human, and I think that's also important that we can't do everything. And then, I would want to, just to kind of two others to close out for Valentine's Day. Carrie Bradshaw quote that my girlfriend Sommer sent this morning, which I think is perfect. Maybe our girlfriends are truly our soulmates, and guys are just to have fun and sex and kids. And I was like, there may be some truth to that. And then just to kind of sum up this day, I saw this on a show, This Is Us, in one of the last episodes, and it was a very impactful quote for me. And I think this sums up the day. Never regret a day in your life. Good days brings happiness. Bad days brings experience. Worst days gives lessons, and better days give memories. This definitely was a best day. Doing what needs to be done might not make you happy, but it will make you great. And that was, that's kind of what sums up the day for me. Being with you all, just to close. I love y'all. Like, y'all are some of my favorite people. I wish I could see Shamyle more. Sarida, I talk about her all the time. I just was talking about somebody the other day, and I was like, y'all think Sarida is a clown. Y'all over here thinking, I'm just saying. I just love y'all so much, and I appreciate the time. So my love letter It's just a series of quotes and just hopefully exuding the love that I have for y'all on this podcast, and a lot of women that are on this podcast today.
Thank you, Sommer. So many powerful quotes. We have a couple of minutes for comments in chat, or if you act right, somebody to come off of mute in our audience, as long as you act right. Think about the funeral rule. You put your finger up, you got 1 minute to say what you got to say. If there's anyone that would love to share, while we wait for you to either raise your hand or drop in the chat, I will share with you all a few things that are coming through. So glad I joined. The real and open sharing of beautiful Black queens has truly made me feel great. Someone else, Pam, noted, collectively, this has been an uplifting and powerful space to share with each other. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to fellowship with all of you. And they wish you a continued manifestation of love, peace, rest, creativity, discovery, and wisdom for us and everyone in this space. And Danielle said, I wish for Black women to know that we are truly one of one. Centering justice is not just this episode, which is a love letter to Black women, but the 43 episodes that we've produced since April of 2020 have been a love letter to our community. It means a lot to me for you all to join, to spend an hour and a half with us. And I am trying my best to elevate voices. We launched a YouTube channel that I would ask each of you to please subscribe to. I just dropped it in the chat. And also help me with show topics. This particular season, we've been talking about the power of narrative strategy. How do we disrupt mainstream and dominant narratives to illuminate counter narrative and other narratives that are lesser known? Next episode or next season, which will start this summer, we're going to be talking about strengthening democracy. It is such an important and vital topic ahead of what will for sure be a shit show in November. So I want to encourage folks to help me to curate guests and show topics that are relevant for our community. And before we go, speaking of when we started in 2020, it wasn't a time of like yoga and being home and resting. It was actually the busiest time of my career at New and beyond. But one of the things that I did return to was writing poetry. And when the pandemic hit, I was not quite 2 months as CEO of New. And to say there was no playbook to be a pandemic CEO is an understatement. But I distinctly remember feeling the breadcrumbs left by my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, their own sort of divine playbook for how to lead in that moment. And I had this question, I wonder if they knew. And so I'd love to share this piece with you, which Candice, Sarida, Sham, Sommer, Meredith, and Black women on this call, I really dedicate to you. And hopefully my dog will let me be great. Y'all hear him? He's trying to not let me be great. But I'm gonna be great anyway with Remy in the background. I wonder if my namesake, Queen Yodit, knew when she dared speak the truth of 700 years of Christian domination in Eastern Africa. I wonder if Mama Harriet knew when she ran through those woods and raided the Combahee Ferry, while the ancestors left behind toiled in the blazing heat of the Mississippi sun, picking and wading through the brutality of these colonized lands. I wonder if they knew as they offered their bosom, nursing and tending and raising masses' children after kneeling in prayer for their own. I wonder if they knew. I wonder as they rubbed lard in the bottom of the cast iron pans, boiled the chitlins and plucked the greens, did they know? Did Fannie Lou Hamer know when she announced her candidacy in Mississippi and was subsequently barred? Did they know Jim Crow racism would inspire Black Wall Street and Black solidarity in places like Tulsa, Detroit? Did they know? And Auntie Shirley, did she know when she walked off the sidelines and into the halls of Congress? When she told us that we are our own best thing, did Toni Morrison know? And Ella Baker, when she said, we who believe in freedom cannot rest? Did Audre Lorde know when she poured poetic truth into our spirits, proclaiming revolution is not a one-time event? Did Anita Hill know that Tawana Burke would clap back so hard she would revolutionize the words Me Too? Did they know that Stacey would stir Georgia and the nation when she showed us what truly valuing Black women as changemakers looks like, and that the squad would agitate the status quo? Shout out to Rashida Tlaib. Did they know the Supreme Court would wait 233 years to finally meet Ketanji Brown Jackson? Did they know that Corey would remind us of whose she was? Did they know, Sommer, that our wounds would come through our wombs? That we would feel their weariness centuries later, but that we would never lose the drumbeat of Africa, even when the world tries to snatch it from our souls? Did they know we would be community builders, philanthropists, media moguls, servant leaders, mentors, justice advocates, world leaders, laborers, social workers, healers, poets, partners, spouses, midwives, engineers? Did they know? Did they know we would be unbought and unbossed regardless? Did they know that while we would fill out the meaning of Black girl magic, that we would know Black folk tired? That we would doubt and question ourselves, Candice, and everything. And still, as Mama Maya says, we would rise. Did they know, Sham, that we would hold each other up on the rough days and in the moments when life leaves us in awe? Did they know we would carry their love notes deep in the back of our hearts? Did they know? Did they know, y'all, that in the moments of our doubt, our dis-ease, our self-loathing, the days when imposter syndrome has overcome us, that we would find rest and solace in the wisdom and the guidance of each other and of their teachings? Did they know that we would be so gifted at honing in on the truth and depth of our being, we Black-bodied survivors and thrivers? Did they know that we would help us reclaim joy, self-love, healing through our tender, authentic, unapologetic Blackness? Did they know we would become the warm respite we needed? That we would be one another's home on homelands we don't belong to? Did they know that we would remind each other frequently of how valuable each of you truly are and how lovable and worthy you are too? And that we would bask in the brilliance and glow of our sisterhood? Did they know? Did they know we would be the keepers and the sharers of their stories when no one else would? We are coming to collect on behalf of our ancestors. Did they know? Now I want all of you that can hear the sound of my voice to repeat after me. Of course they did. Of course they did.